All right, this is week 1 of our 8-week onboarding calls. And the purpose of these is to really help break down MFL day and help break down being a brand new injector and kind of how you go about social media and marketing, how you chart, how you inject, really just kind of everything over the course of the next 8 weeks. So let's get started. Just gotta let somebody else in. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So these are the current platforms that we utilize here at MFL. So we use Bamboo. That is for all of the HR paperwork. So your resume is in there, your information for ADP, for payroll, for your paycheck is in there. All of your certificates are also in there as well from training if you took training through us. So really the only time you use Bamboo is whenever we do employee surveys. And then if you have any questions about ADP, you can access ADP through that as well. So there's not a whole lot that happens with Bamboo HR after you are onboarded. The next one is aesthetic record. Aesthetic record is our EMR and our point of sale, which means you will be taking payment through aesthetic record as well. So you'll be using aesthetic record every single time you have a patient encounter. And then finally, we utilize WhatsApp for the different, we call them districts for product movement among injectors. So at this point, everyone should have been broken down into different districts. So that way you can start to see how product moves among injectors. If for whatever reason you don't use an entire bottle before it expires at our 60 days. Has everyone had a chance to download aesthetic record on your phone? And it only works on iPads or iPhones. Let me know if you have not. So give me a thumbs up if you have already. Okay, go ahead and if you have not downloaded it yet, you can go to the App Store really fast. So go to the App Store and you're going to type in aesthetic record and the app will look just like this. So if you can see that, it'll look just like that. So please go ahead and download this one. So it is the white one. Make sure you don't download a different one. It is this one. Fallon, were you able to in the App Store?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Tiffany, you have it. Anosha, all of y'all, you're all good. Alicia, Jackie.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, good, because we're going to be doing a little exercise with it here in a little bit. Ready, moving on. Okay, and then these are the different reward platforms that we can use for our patients to kind of help with some different benefits. So Allie, also known as the previously Brilliant Distinctions, is for Botox. And then Aspire is for Dysport. And then Evolus is for currently Juvo. We are going to be phasing Juvo slowly out. So just kind of be aware of that. And we're going to be integrating a new toxin in, which is going to be Daxxify. So they will have a rewards program as well eventually. But just know that Evolus will be and Juvo will be slowly phased out and we will bring on a new toxin, which tends to kick in a little bit faster. Okay, so now that everyone is familiar with all the different platforms, we are going to go over how you add a patient. So that's going to be the very first thing that you have to do in aesthetic record. And you are going to add yourself as a test patient. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up the app and you are going to create yourself your first name and then the last name will be test. This is a fake account that you can go in and you can play with and chart and do whatever you want, manipulate however you would like. We just ask that you do not check yourself out on any of those fake charts, just because it's kind of a headache on the back end to go in and delete it. So I'm going to have everyone go ahead and open up the app and we're going to walk through this together. So as soon as you open the app, you're going to see it's going to bring you to the main page. And you're simply going to click the bottom dots in the bottom right-hand corner. There are white dots and a blue bubble. Go ahead and click on that. And you're going to click on the plus button. So go ahead and click on that plus, and you can see also in here you have the search functionality, you have the calendar, you have wallet, you have all sorts of different things. But for right now, you're going to click on that plus button. And then once you do that, you are going to fill out all of the needed information. I typically tell people I need everything from your first name all the way down to your phone number. Everything needs to be filled out. I don't need to have your insurance information or your home address or anything else after that. The core pieces of information that I need are going to be your first and last name, your date of birth, which is required because it is a medical procedure. I also need to know your email, and then also your phone number. And I had a quick question in the chat, so let me see what that was. Fallon, you will log on. You were actually given an email of how to log on. You should be have received an invite from Aesthetic Record. So go ahead and check your email. It would be your personal email for Aesthetic Record, and you should have a link to be able to do that. Is anyone else having a hard time logging on? Alyssa, you're good. Megan, Natalia. Perfect. Thank you. Great. And Fallon, if you're still having some difficulty, we can hang out after the call and we can kind of walk through that as well. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So first and last name and last name test. You're going to fill out your gender, your date of birth. Quick pro tip, start with the year first. Don't do the month or the day, just because if it is January, or I'm sorry, if it is February and your birthday is in January and you try to go back to January, it won't let you do it. So pro tip, do year first, and then you can do day and then month. And then email address. And then finally, phone number. Once you've done that, you can click in the upper right-hand corner. There's a blue floppy disk. It is supposed to mean save. So for all of those people that I'm probably aging myself, but that's like the old school floppy disk. That means save now. So go ahead and hit that save button in the upper right-hand corner, and that will create the patient within the chart. So again, that's the very first thing that you have to do with every single patient. You have to put them with an aesthetic record. After you do that, then you can go in and start charting on them, add them to your calendar, do all of those kind of things. All right, so after they've been added, now we're going to book the patient's appointment. And the reason why we do this is because this fires the pre and post instructions, which are required by law. Because we are doing a medical procedure, they have to have pre and post instructions. And the only way for this, the only way for this to happen is that the patient has to be virtually booked for an appointment. So again, you're going to go back to that main page. And you can again click those little bubbles, and now you're going to click that calendar icon, and you can simply book the appointment from here as well. I think someone just entered the waiting room. Perfect. You're going to choose yourself as the provider, and you will also choose yourself as the clinic as well. And then you're also going to select the service that they're going to be getting and then the date. Now, if it's not allowing you to choose a date, it might mean that your calendar is not opened yet. And there is a graphic on the Facebook page to walk you through how to open up your own personal calendar. It is very simple to do, but it does have to be done from the .com, meaning from a computer or from the actual website. You cannot open up your appointments and your calendar from the app. It has to be done from the main website. So please follow that graphic. It is on the Facebook page of how to do that. I'm simply going to type in the patient's last name, and it's going to pull up all of the information. This is where you can also save a credit card if you want to take a book a pre-appointment and the patient wants to hold the appointment. So you can go ahead and book that. But you don't necessarily have to. If you don't want to enter a patient's credit card in, you simply uncheck that box and hit save in the bottom, at the very bottom of the screen. You also have the ability to send the patient a text message and email letting them know that the appointment is booked. So pretty simple so far. So very first thing is obviously you have to create the patient. Then the second thing is going to be go ahead and book the patient to fire that pre and post instructions. Now we're going to do a very basic charting on a patient. So again, you're going to simply open up the app, or if you already have it open, you're going to find the patient's name. You can search for it in that bottom right-hand corner in that big blue dot with all the small little white dots. Click on that, and you can click on the magnifying glass. And this is only if you don't have the patient's chart already opened. So this is the patient's chart, and I'm able to see every single procedure that they've ever had with MFL. And once I have already input the patient and booked their appointment, now I'm ready to chart. I open up their account and I can hit that plus button in the upper right-hand corner. And I will always choose cosmetic. Even if you are doing an IV drip, please always choose cosmetic. And it will pull up the anatomical places that we're going to be treating. We are always going to be treating the face. And then that appointment that I went ahead and booked, it's always going to be there. So simply click on that. And then once you click on it, you can hit next in the upper right-hand corner. And then step number 3 is just to verify that all of the information is correct, that you have chosen the correct provider and you have chosen the correct clinic. Yes. So Tiffany, if it says no service available, that's because your calendar is not open up. So you'll have to go in and open up your calendar. Did that help answer your question? Okay. Then once you get to step 4, this is going to be the patient questionnaire. So if they're a brand new patient, you're going to click on new patient. If they're an established patient, click on the established one. And it just walks you through the prompts and this is the basic history of the patient. Once you've done the appropriate questionnaire, you're going to hit next again in the upper right-hand corner, and then it's going to bring you to your consents. The consent that you want to make sure that you do is obviously going to be procedure specific. So if you're doing any of the neurotoxins, please select the neurotoxin one. If you are doing a combination one, please select all of the appropriate consents, and the patient can batch sign them all at one time. If you are a registered nurse and you need to do telemedicine, please select the telemedicine consent and then also the before and after photo consent as well. Any questions so far? Perfect. This is at this point when I usually hand my phone to the patient and I say, please read through these consents. And when you're ready, you can hit sign in the upper right-hand corner. And then again, the patient can just initial in the big box. And if you have multiple consents, there's a box at the very bottom that says you have selected multiple consents. Would you like to sign them all at once? Please select that. And occasionally the system will do some upgrades. So I believe they just did an upgrade maybe like a week ago or so. So the screen might look slightly different. So please don't be alarmed if it does. This is when it's going to bring you to the final step, and this is going to be uploading all of the patient's images. So those are the 5 images that I talked about in training, and that's going to be resting stasis, so facing forward, no expression. The second picture is going to be where the patient is activating the glabella. And so I usually tell them to frown or to look pissed. And then the next image is going to be to appreciate the frontalis muscle. So you want to go ahead and have the patient lift up their eyebrows. And then the final 2 photos are going to be appreciate the crow's feet. So have the patient turn to the right and smile really pretty, and then turn to the left and smile real pretty. That will give you a great idea of the patient's natural resting stasis and their dynamic lines. And that is a great way to use those images for before and afters for social media as well. You can take them on your phone. And then once you take them on your phone, you can upload those images. For the purpose of this one, I just upload the template. Please don't upload the template. Please actually use the patient's real photos though. I'm using my husband's account, so he was like, I don't want my pictures on there. And then you're going to hit start in the upper right-hand corner. So once you get pretty fast at it, that's really the hardest part, is kind of creating the patient and then going all the way to this step. You're probably looking around 4 to 5 minutes per chart. So just to kind of mentally prepare of how long that should take. Once you get better at it, I think I can get through an entire thing in like a minute and a half. And so really it's just the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to be with the app. Once you come to this page, now you're actually going to be charting the procedure that we're going to be doing. The very first thing that you need to always do is always pay yourself first. And this is in reference to the appointment fee. So how you're going to add this appointment fee, you're going to hit that plus button right here where it says plus product. And you're going to go over to the retail side. So once you click on retail, you will see all of the different appointment fees are there. So I never recommend doing the $15 consultation. At the bare minimum, you should always be charging $25, even if it is your best friend or your mother. You can blame it on me and say my boss is really mean and I just charge $25 every single time. And the reason why I say that is because the company takes $12 out of that consultation fee. And so we want to make sure that we are increasing your register and also increasing your paycheck as well. This isn't a job. You are not doing this for charity. And there's really not that big of a difference between $15 and $25 for that appointment fee. So at the bare minimum, please always charge $25. However, you have the ability to charge up to $55 every single time. There is Lauren, one of our injectors and also one of our trainers. She charges every single patient $55 every single time, and her paycheck definitely is significantly higher than everyone else's who does not charge that. So please, at the bare minimum, 25, but you can charge all the way up to 55. Once you select the appointment fee that you would like to do, you're simply going to tap on it and hit add to procedure. Now, the next thing that we're going to be doing is we are going to selecting the product. If the patient does not qualify for a variant, which means Botox would be less than 36 units. Dysport, it would be actually less than 80. And then Jeuveau would be less than 36. And so we did get rid of the intermediate division of the gold. So we only have the platinum now. So those are the only numbers that you need to know. So your screen might look just a little bit differently. So if it's less than 36 units for Botox or Jeuveau or less than 80, then they will not qualify for the variant. You will simply go ahead and click on the product version of that, which is one tab over. However, if they do qualify for a variant, please select the correct variant because we cannot go back and give the patient their money back. What we will do is if you accidentally select the wrong variant, we will just put a credit into their account for future use. So please just know that. So I'm going to have you go ahead and select. You can go ahead and select Disport at this time. And it doesn't have to necessarily be the any variant. It can be the product version or it can be the variant of greater than 80. But we're going to use Disport for this very first example. And then once you've selected Disport, you can simply take your two fingers and kind of stretch in and to zoom into that patient's chart, into the image. And you're going to double tap with your finger, and that will automatically make that little tab appear. Then you can toggle it right up here, and you're going to toggle it up to 10 units. And so we're going to do a total of 50 units of Dysport in between the glabella. So 50 into the belly of Proceres, 10 into the belly of Proceres, 10 into the medial aspects of the corrugator, and then finally 10 in the lateral aspects of the corrugator. Once you are done, you're going to hit save in the upper right-hand corner. And it's at this point that you are going to go ahead and hit that back button in the upper left-hand corner. Right here, I'm showing you what happens if you accidentally put something somewhere and how to delete it. So you can simply just select it and you're going to hit this trash can at the bottom right. All right. And it is at this point that you are going to go ahead and screenshot this image for me. And this is going to be part of your homework that you're going to submit to me over the next week or so. So if you've been following along and doing it with me, it's super simple. Just go ahead and screenshot that. And that is going to be your homework assignment. If you were not able to kind of follow along, it's totally fine. This call is recorded so that you can go back and follow along with the live recording. The last couple of things that you need to be doing is you obviously have to check the patient out. So that's going to be the take payment side. And then you also need to add your assessment in, and that's going to be on the add notes section. And then the very final thing that you will be doing is that traceability information. And this is where it will subtract from your digital stock. So if corporate sends you 100 units of Botox and you use a total of 20 Botox units in one patient, the traceability would automatically, when you select it, delete 20 units from that 100. This just lets corporate know where all of the product is, and that helps with product movement as well. And can you repeat? You cut off. What part did I cut off at? After the take payment part, what you're going to do is you will then do your assessment, and so that's the add note section. So you'll add your assessment there. We utilize dot phrases, so very similar to Epic. So if you just hit dot or period on your phone, all of the pre-populated assessments will pop up. So you can simply select the appropriate assessment and then modify it however you seem fit. And then the last thing I said was talking about for traceability. Traceability deletes the stock that you currently have. For example, if corporate sends you 100 units of Botox and you use 20 units of Botox on a patient, once you click on that traceability and you select your appropriate lot number, it will automatically delete that 20 units. This helps corporate know where product is, and then also helps with product movement among the injectors. So this is the assessment port. The assessment portion. And so this is where you hit that dot, and then you can see all of the different assessments are populating right there. So you have APC, so that's the nurse practitioner and the PA assessment for neurotoxin. You have the RN neurotoxin, then you have APC filler, you'll have RN filler, and you'll have B12. I think I just had a message. And what about the rewards? Great question. I'll get there in 1 second. So this is the traceability side. And I'm going to select the appropriate lot number. And I'll scroll all the way to the bottom and select how many units I used and hit add. And that will virtually just subtract it from my chart. And then the final thing is obviously take the patient's take payment for the patient. This is where you will apply all of the different rewards for the patients. So if they are using Disport, Aspire is automatically integrated within Aesthetic Record, which is great. Ally is a little bit different, so you'll have to add it to their wallet, and I'll show you how to do that on another call. And then Evolus is also currently fully integrated within Aspire as well. So I'm going to show you how that works. So you can see that it's validating Aspire rewards. And if I take my finger and just kind of pull that screen down and I click on wallets in the upper right-hand corner, you can see that I can put in all of the patient's rewards there. Also, for running any type of promotions within MFL, you're going to click on the promotion tabs, and this is where you can apply any discounts or promotions that we currently have running. So when you click on promotions, these are all of the different promotions that we had going at that time. So you have your family and friends, you have your finesse, you have if they're buying packages of microneedling or anything like that, all of that information is here. Once you find the one that you would like to do, simply tap it and it will automatically delete it or take the amount off of the total. So you can see when I select one, it goes from 315 and it decreases the amount. And then when I go over to Aspire, since I am using Disport, it will automatically pull up any rewards that are currently there. So this particular patient at this time did not have any rewards because I had already cashed them in. If they did, it would say 200 points, 400 points, something like that. And you would click on it and then it would send a text message code to the patient and then you could put it in and it would automatically take it off of the total. Once you get to this page, this is where you can decide if you want to take card or credit card or care credit. Also, Cherry is on there as well. And then you can simply type in the patient's credit card information. If they do want to take Venmo or Zelle, please don't use cash. We are currently using the Green Sky. We have asked Aesthetic Record to add a little tab on there for Venmo and Zelle, and they have put it into their queue of things to come down the pipeline. So please just simply choose Green Sky if the patient is going to be Venmoing or Zelling. And then we are medical professionals, so we are not allowed to accept tips. So please just know that. If a patient does accidentally tip on their credit card, what we will do in the back end is we will actually take that tip and put it back into their account. If someone hands you cash, of course, that's not something that we're going to, take away from you by any stretch of the imagination. But from a credit card stand, there just can't be any paper trail of it. If they send through Venmo and Zelle, what number or email do we provide? That's a great question. So that's also going to be on that Facebook group. It is it is a graphic on there and it will show you exactly what that is. And we go over it on the next call. And I just type in random numbers and I hit charge. Okay, so we're going to pause right here. Are there any questions so far of anything that I've gone over? Feel free to unmute yourself, or you can also type in the chat.
Hey, Anne, I do have a quick question. I got a little lost on the traceability. I don't know how to add it. Would you mind kind of going over that again?
Yeah. I'll go back right here. Sorry, it's not. There we go. Here we go. So whenever on the main page, it will say update traceability in the upper right hand on the like upper right hand side of the screen. And then you can click on that. If you don't have any product currently, it will not be able to allow you to add anything. Sorry, it's saying that it's going forward, but the system froze. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go over the telemedicine protocol. So telemedicine is for registered nurses only, and this is required once every 11 months, and also for any dose changes as well. This is because Botox is considered a medication, so it is a prescription, and so it does have to be exactly what the provider says for you. So there is a graphic on that Facebook page. Please follow that graphic to a T when it comes to telemedicine. When you look at the different telemedicine, when you look at the WhatsApp group, you'll be able to see really kind of how the flow is. We do ask that you follow that, and Lauren will always be your go-to for telemedicine. If for whatever reason Lauren is not available, you will always have someone there. So that's when you'll see the word code tele, and that's when you'll see like Ashley or myself or any of the other providers say, I'm here, and then they will usually send their link as well. We do use DoxyLink. It is a HIPAA compliant telemedicine platform. So please do not try FaceTime or anything like that because it's not considered HIPAA compliant. And then once you have your patient scheduled, you can go ahead and put in that WhatsApp group. I have a patient today at 5 p.m. We ask that you do it the day of the appointment, not a few days in advance, because it'll just get pushed back. So please just do it that day, and just let the providers know or let Lauren know that you do have a patient scheduled. And then once you have that patient marked, you will then text Lauren on her personal cell phone number. Please do not put it in the WhatsApp group. You will text Lauren on her personal cell phone number, 5-minute warning, and then that will let Lauren know she has about 5 minutes before you are ready. And at that point, you will then go ahead and log into her portal on that Doxy link, and then Lauren will initiate the phone call. Telemedicine, it seems super scary, but I promise it's not. It's just like giving a report to any other provider. You're going to give the patient's first and last name, their date of birth, let them know, the provider know if they have any allergies, any medical problems, if they specifically have a history of cold sores, and then the procedure that you were looking at doing, and then they will do their assessment and take over from there. So very simple when you are doing it. You will also do it at your launch party. If you do, if one of your onboarding specialists is a registered nurse, they will walk you through that as well. If anyone has a telemedicine WhatsApp group, can they post it here? I have link to the Dallas WhatsApp group and product exchange. I will make sure that it's on the Facebook group for you as well, Anosha. All right, and then we are going to do our glabella review. So I'm going to close this screen. Okay, so for the glabella review, let's go over the muscles that make up the glabella complex. That is going to be procerus, which is directly in between the eyebrows, and then you have the corrugators. You have the medial aspect of the corrugators, and then you have the lateral tail aspect of the corrugators. Traditionally, nature made the glabella complex to be one of the strongest depressor muscle groups in the face. Once you put neurotoxin into it, it's going to force it to do the exact opposite. So now it becomes a really strong elevator. It is traditionally meant to treat the resting static line, so those deep 11s that you will see, but it will obviously, if you completely paralyze the muscle, get rid of the dynamic lines as well. So when you are injecting the glabella, it is normally these 5 injection patterns right here. So one is directly in the belly of Procerus, and then you're going to have on either side of the medial corrugator, and then obviously the lateral corrugator. It is very close to the eyebrows, so almost like it is like right above the eyebrows, almost at the hairline. So just know that it is very close into the eyebrows. It's not as high up as we actually used to think. A lot of patients don't really require all 5 injection points. The majority of the time, you actually can get away with just 3 of them. If the patient has significant movement, though, and is really strong in that glabella complex, it will require 5. Just know that the tail of the corrugator, like we talked about in training, does get thinner and more superficial the more lateral that it goes out. So you do have to change your injection technique a little bit and do more at a 45-degree angle and go half of the needle depth. For Dysport, it's going to be a total of 50 and 50 units, so 10 units into each injection point. If you are using Botox or Jeuveau, it is going to be a total of 20 units, which is 4 units into each injection point. But remember, how we reconstitute Botox and Jeuveau is 2.5, and within MFL, we reconstitute Dysport with 3 mLs, which makes it our fluid units. So for 10 fluid units into each injection point, Dysport is the easiest because Dysport units equal fluid units. But if you're using Botox or Jeuveau or Daxxify, you have to remember your Botox Bible, and that is 10 equals 4, 5 equals 2, and 2.5 equals 1. And that is for charting purposes only. Remember, when you are injecting, it's the 10s and 5s and 2.5s that you're going to be dealing with as far as the medication that you're injecting with. The 4s and 2s and 1s with Botox, Jeuveau, and Daxxify, those are what you're going to be actually charting. So if we want to kind of go through that, we can do a little bit of a game again. So if I was using Dysport on this glabella complex, how many Dysport units did I give the patient? Total of 50. Very good. If I was using Botox, Jeuveau, or Daxxify, and I reconstituted at 2.5, how many Botox units did I give the patient? Remember your Bible, 10 equals 4. Perfect. So that would be a total of 20 units that you would chart. So instead of 10, 10, 10 of charting, you would chart 4, 4, 4, 4, 4 for charting. Any questions on this for a recap? Very good. And remember, whenever you are injecting, you want to make sure that your thumb is on the plunger every single time. Okay, let's talk about our launch party. Okay, so we're going to talk about our launch party. So at your launch party, at this point, everyone should have their onboarding specialist. Does anyone not have an onboarding specialist? Please let me know right now. Great. At your launch party, it is required that you inject a minimum of 3 patients in different areas. And so we do that because the supervising physicians want to see all of our providers inject 3 more patients just for supervision. And once you've done that, then you are cleared to go. Once you've injected those 3 patients, your onboarding specialist is not required to stay. So we do want to make sure that those patients are stacked rather close together because we want to be cognizant of their time. They will help you prepare for your launch party as far as going over aesthetic record the day of. Usually when I go to my launch parties, I usually do it at the party. I'll come a few minutes early and we'll kind of go through everything. Your onboarding specialist will bring all of your supplies for you. So the only thing that you will need to tell them is your glove size. They will bring all of your neurotoxin, all of your needles, everything. You will also need to let them know how many people you are expecting and what is their product preference. So it will either be Botox or Dysport at this time. So if they're requesting something different, then just let your onboarding specialist know. And if we do have any Jeuveau left at the time when you have your onboarding, when you have your launch party, the injector can bring Jeuveau as well. Now, if I always recommend to over invite for your launch party. So if you have to treat a minimum of 3 patients, I would invite minimum 12. And the reason I say that is because life happens and things happen, and it has happened unfortunately several times where we will go out to do a launch party and everyone will have something come up, and then you will not get your actual 3 patients for your onboarding specialist, and then you have to reschedule. And so that's never great to do. So I always tell everyone to over invite for your launch party so you can assure that you get your 3 patients. I've even had some patients where they actually, I'm sorry, some injectors where they get out of probationary period at their launch party because they inject 8 neurotoxin patients. So the more you invite, the better. So that's my recommendation for it. You also don't have to go above and beyond with this. I've gone to some parties where it is obvious that the injector loves to entertain and they are super creative, and they have balloon arches and they have flowers and they have food and all of these beautiful things. Just know that that is not everyone's that's not everyone's favorite part to do, and not everyone, that's not their love language. So if you simply just want to have some friends over and it's a quiet, intimate gathering in your home, that is totally appropriate as well. So just be whatever is authentic to you for your launch party. I had a quick question. Can you also do microneedling? Yes, you can. It will not count towards your 3 though. So just know that. So you do have to have 3 neurotoxin patients. So please let your onboarding specialist know if you do want to do microneedling. All right, and then the very final thing we have for tonight is we have our marketing training. And the purpose of this is just to kind of help you have some place to start, because we are all medical at the core of our being. We are not great at marketing ourselves. So if you are a social media guru and you have a marketing background, the things I'm going to tell you, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is very rudimentary and very basic. However, for me, this is where I started, and I slowly kind of build upon it from there. So at the very beginning, we have everyone create, it's called your Frank list, FRANK. And this stands for F for friends. So please write this down, friends. The next category is R, and that stands for relatives. A stands for acquaintances. N stands for neighbors. And then K stands for kid mom friends. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you name 10 names in each of these categories, and you can snap a picture of it, and then you upload that to the Facebook page as part of your homework as well. So now you have your graph or your chart that you took a screenshot of. And then this is the second thing you're going to go ahead and take a picture of. Now, if you are a handwriter, I love to handwrite things. You can actually just take a picture of that. If you want to type it on a computer and or on your cell phone and screenshot it, you can absolutely do that as well. But I'm going to go over it again. So F stands for friends, R, relatives, A, acquaintances, N, neighbors, and K, kid mom friends. Then you're going to create 10 people into each of these buckets. So you're going to list 10 friends, 10 relatives, 10 acquaintances, 10 neighbors, 10 kid mom friends. And of all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so there's a total of 50 people that you just wrote down. You are going to reach out to 10 of them, and you are going to invite them to your launch party. So because you have to start somewhere. And then I also have a social media graphic for you. It will be listed on the page tomorrow morning, and you can go ahead and write your name in it. If you're really good on a cell phone, you can, or if you can like put it in Canva, you can simply go ahead and add your name to it. But it essentially says, welcome to the team. I'm an aesthetic injector, and you can post that image on your social media page. So that is it for this evening. Do I have any questions at all from anybody?
And is the homework both the one that we have the screenshot and list the 10
Yep.
of each, and then send you a screenshot of that as well?
Exactly. And then tomorrow morning I will post the homework on there and it will say exactly what you need to do. I'll also post the recording of this call on there, the link. So you can actually probably scroll on that page and scroll all the way down to the bottom. And if you keep scrolling, you can see previous classes, what exactly that's going to look like. But that'll be posted tomorrow for y'all because I have to upload the call and it takes some time to record and put onto YouTube for you.
And this is due by when?
By the next call, by next Sunday.
Okay.
And real
And then
quick,
for the post, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. You can finish your thought.
And then for the post, you said that the post is required, the one that you said to put your name and put it on social media?
No, no, that's not required. It's just something if you would like to do. I will ask you to do some posting on social media, but if you don't want to use that graphic, we just ask that you start posting on social media because you're starting to build your clientele.
Yeah. Okay. And then as far as I know, MFL creates its own graphics. Where can we get access to that? Like as far as if there's any promotions going on that month or things like that.
Great question. So those will all be posted on the main MFL injector only page. And so Ashley or Brittany will go on and they will post all those graphics and you can simply go ahead and grab them.
Is that on Facebook?
Yep.
Got it. Thank you.
Tiffany?
Okay. You said after we do the 3 patients, all the different areas, right? There's only 3. For some reason, I thought I had the number 8.
Yeah, so you have to do a total of 8 patients to get out of probationary period. And then that is so you can move on to the second part, which is the filler part.
Okay, gotcha. And then one more question. Um, I just drew a blank. What was I going to ask you? Oh, as far as our 90 days, did that start like April 1?
It starts the MFL day.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you had MFL day.
Okay.
Yep.
Having trouble getting my launch party scheduled between myself and Katie and our schedules, and my kitchen's under construction. So anyway, I'll
Yeah.
work on it.
And if you have any difficulty, the biggest thing that we always ask is just communicate with us. If you're having any difficulties, please just let us know.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Well, if there's not any other questions, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. I will see everyone here next Sunday. I will post your homework by tomorrow. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to give y'all my personal cell phone number. It is 832-230-7788. And again, if you have any questions, need anything at all, I am your guide over the next 8 weeks. So I am your go-to. All right, guys. I hope you have a wonderful week and I'll see you all next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.